What's going on, NBA fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central. We got StevO in the building, the young OG in the building, and we're going to be talking about the Kyrie Irving trade and what it means for the landscape of the Eastern Conference. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
Thank you for tuning in to the number one place for your daily basketball fix, NBA Central. Hosted by the one and only CEO Haize.
All right, StevO. So Kyrie Irving was officially traded. So it looks like they're actually sending Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris to the Dallas Mavericks for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney, and an unprotected first-round pick in 2029 and second-round picks in 2027 and 2029. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. Just looking at the framework of this deal, I thought the Nets were going to be able to get way more back for Kyrie than what they did. Now they do add, so the Brooklyn Nets are getting Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney, who are, they're solid players, but not any really thing I look at as being able even together to replace what Kyrie Irving brought to that Brooklyn Nets team. The biggest question I'm going to ask you is this first one. How do you feel about the package that Brooklyn Nets got back for Kyrie? How do you feel about it?
I actually didn't have a problem with it. I actually thought, people thought they got fleeced, and I was like, no, that's a solid trade. Now, I thought they was, like you said, I thought they was going to get way more compared, with that Minnesota trade deal with everything, but I didn't think it was that bad. I feel like I know they said they wanted to have a win now type of trade package, but I feel like they more cared about the future and the picks. So once I seen the picks, and now that you said Markieff, I really like the trade, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, they sent
on the Brooklyn side, I should say.
Like that since they sent Markieff out. So how you feel about it on the Dallas side though? Dallas gets Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris. Markieff, who's not like an amazing player by any stretch of the imagination, but he could add some solid depth for them. And especially now you add Kyrie Irving. They didn't give up Christian Wood. They still got Maxi Kleber down there, who I think is injured though. But I look at Dallas. Do you think Dallas got enough to where they can go on a championship run this season? Because it's really just about this season. Nothing's been said on if Kyrie is going to agree to a contract extension or not. So they're really going in on it this season. Do you think, basically, when you look at it, they're replacing Jalen Brunson, what they got from Jalen Brunson last year, now Kyrie Irving. Is that a championship level team need?
If it works. It can't. If that's the whole thing. If my whole worry with everything was not really the Kyrie coming in, it was more of the Luka playing style. I'm not sure if the Luka playing style, if he's willing to convert back to the old Luka, the Euro Luka. Now, if the Euro Luka pops out with Kyrie, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And with Markieff Morris, I feel like them losing, I thought they'd have Royce O'Neal, but he could have like a Royce O'Neal type of effect to that team. So I like it if it works, but I don't know if it's gonna work. If he's still in his James Harden play style type of, it's not gonna work. That's the only thing I'm not worried about.
I mean, you're right. It really does come down to how much is Luka willing to sacrifice, right? And we've seen Luka, and even this season, he's been frustrated. We've even heard rumors that he's basically kind of told Dallas, like, hey, man, what are you going to do here to improve this roster around me? If Luka now sees Kyrie Irving coming in and realizing, Luka has to realize, like, hey, if I want Kyrie to be here long term, I'm going to have to sacrifice. I'm going to have to sacrifice for the rest of the season. If Luka does that, and you look at what else they have, they got Christian Wood, they got Markieff Morris, who's I think still hurt though. You still add Reggie Bullock to that. That's a solid player. Dwight Powell, who's been solid for them at times. Josh Green. Like, while I'm not saying that it's a surefire championship team, but if Luka's willing, it's going to have to be Luka that sacrifices. And, that some people may look at that and say, like, it's his team. No, why does he have to sacrifice? Because guess what? And I hate to be the one that like makes knee-jerk reaction type things and statements, but if Luka does not sacrifice now with Kyrie coming in, I don't think any other superstar is going to come and play with Luka. This is Luka's opportunity to prove to the rest of the league, I am willing to sacrifice if you bring another superstar to come play with me here in Dallas.
Yeah, and if you look at that, people listen to Kyrie. He's well loved around the league, and if they see that not happen, they're not gonna go. Like he got I was just watching the DeJounte Murray interview, and he was talking about how you could kind of tell when players haven't played with anybody else that's just as good as them, and they tend to be very selfish, but they don't realize that we all eat and we all look good if you learn how to play a part of the system. So But that's the one thing that's so frustrating with Luka is because, like, bro, you came from the Euro, you came from fundamentals, you came where your elders played over you. You've been playing with them since they were 15 years old. You should know to take a back row in certain situations. That's what really sacrificing is in certain situations. We're not saying could become the number two because that's not gonna happen. But
great points.
you gotta sacrifice with the talent. It's almost like a coach. You gotta realize who's on your team. He know what Reggie gonna stand on that island like a prostitute on the corner, and he ain't gonna move. So I'm gonna sit here and do my dribble. That's what he know he can do. That he know what Kyrie with the temperament Kyrie has. That's not gonna fly. They both, and like I just said on with the Cognac boys, well, they're both their temperaments is either gonna work or they gonna clash. It's one or two.
Yep, they got about 36 games to figure it out, and that's you know what? Honestly, I commend the Dallas Mavericks for trying it. And the thing is if this does not work, and let's say it doesn't work, but it's not because of Luka, they now are in a situation where they can have some cap space at the end of the season. So this is another reason why you got to, like, if I'm the owner, if I'm the GM, if whoever it is, whoever gets through to Luka, I'm telling them, listen here, bro. Even if this Kyrie thing don't work out, how you treat Kyrie is going to determine how we can build the championship team around you. You for these next 3 months, you need to be in Kyrie's ear every single time. Because like you said, regardless of how like kind of the general media looks at Kyrie because he does some weird shit, the basketball players around the league respect Kyrie.
They love that man.
So, you know, this is an opportunity. This is really going to dictate, hey, Luka, are you going to be able to be the team that the Mavs build a championship team around? Are you going to be a player that may be like Dirk? And Dirk was very different. I think people wanted to play with Dirk, but are you going to be like at the end of your career, just by things coming together, you're going to work it out? Or are you eventually going to have to leave and go somewhere else if you want your title? This is a big, and I think some people are going to overlook how major this is for Luka, because you already have people right now saying, well, who's going to want to play with Luka? And he did that to himself, right?
He definitely did.
So
he definitely did.
You know, and I would imagine if they made this trade, they did it with Luka's blessing. They did it with communicating with Luka, and you know, shout out to them for pulling the trigger. Honestly, an unprotected 2029 pick and a couple of seconds isn't that high of a risk, but it can go so much further than that if they really want to try to build this team around Luka. So I mean, we'll see. So we talked a lot about like how it's going to work in everything else, but like just the basketball on the court. What brand of basketball you think are they going to be a better team now going forward? Do you think it's going to take 10, 15 games for them to figure it out? Or how do you think it's going to work out?
Like I just said on Cognac Boys, I feel like after the All-Star break, if they not somewhat clicking after that, I think that tells you everything you know. He's going to play the rest of this season. He's going to leave. That's the only, and with this trade, we also got to bring up Jason Kidd.
Yes,
Jason Kidd. I'm not gonna say he's the best coach for this scenario, but he's the best person to be a coach in this scenario. You got a ball dominant point guard ish superstar, and you got a ball dominant point guard coming in. Both come, but even though Jason Kidd is not a ball dominant point guard, I feel like players respect him enough. Kyrie respect him enough. Luka respect him enough to listen to what he has to say, and this will just how they look. They're gonna look at Luka for this. Like how if anybody want to play, this is gonna do a lot for Jason Kidd. He got a lot of chances, and we do. I'm not gonna say like C-Dub was like, what have he done? I'm like he haven't done much, but we do have to give him some type of credit for Giannis. He did change kind of. I wouldn't say kind. He definitely opened up his floor.
For sure. He definitely did. We're going to talk a little bit about the East, but since we're talking about the Western Conference right now, I want to kind of focus here. The Western Conference playoff race. Right now, the Dallas Mavericks sit at 6th in the Western Conference. How much further do you think they can go? And then also, we're 5 days away from the trade deadline, bro. 4 days away from the trade deadline. It's February 9th. Do you think this is the first domino to where now other teams in the West, do teams call Utah and be like, hey, that Jared Vanderbilt deal, that's still on the table? Like, do you think this kind of jump starts the other teams in the Western Conference to try to see if they can make any moves to stay relevant, not really relevant, but to stay maybe ahead of the Dallas Mavericks, because I know we had some doubts on if this trade is going to work, but if it does work, the Western Conference got to
That's
watch
an
out,
issue.
bro.
It's
Yeah,
an issue. Yeah, like you got. I feel like you almost have to, because I feel like a lot of players are looking at like teams like Chicago and how they didn't improve while everybody else was improving.
hmm,
So I think the league is starting to realize you got to do what everybody else is doing at the same time. If you
yeah,
sit there and wait, you can miss something. You don't know what that something is, but you could definitely miss something. I feel like they in the six, they can jump up in the 4 or 5, depending on like I'm not the biggest believer of the Clippers. A lot of people are, but like I
if
feel
they
like
can
they
stay
can.
healthy, I believe in them. But
Yeah,
that's the
that's the
thing, you can't
thing.
bet on their health, bro.
Like you never know. Like I just said, OC Dub. You don't even know if he's gonna play tomorrow. You don't
Yeah,
know. You don't know if Kawhi gonna play tomorrow. And I feel like even though he said Paul George technically gave the reins up to Kyrie, I feel like they still don't have that talk yet. Like that real one-on-one who this team belongs to. Because when you see them in the playoffs, when it showed, like even when he played the Bulls, PG was isoing I thought DeMar was out there. I really did. Like it it depends. Like I said, it depends on the camaraderie. It depends on if Luka is willing to make it work. I pray to God they talk to him about this, because you know how organizations is. They just do it. So I pray to God they talk to him about it. And I pray to God that he's 100% in. And I pray to God Kyrie's 100% in, because that's the biggest issue.
yeah. I mean, if they're both bought in, but yeah, that's gonna be tough, man. That's gonna be tough. Do you think that
Yeah.
this? So they're 6 right now. Do you think they're gonna be able to jump up to one of the top 4 spots? Do you think there's enough time left for them to mesh together and for them to get one of those top 4?
Yeah, because I can see the sun dropping. I can see. I don't know. I can kind of see the Kings falling from the face of the earth for some reason. I could just see a lot of teams falling, and if they really clicking, yeah, I could really see them moving up at least top 4. I won't say
Okay.
top 3. I say top 4, top 5.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, let's look at how things shake out right now overall in the Eastern Conference. So the Brooklyn Nets, I believe. Let me check real quick, double check myself. The Brooklyn
Fourth.
Nets were 4th.
Yep.
And I definitely don't see them keeping up that pace. So
Oh
that's
no.
gonna open up some things. Even with the acquisitions and the players they do get back, I think they're gonna have a tough go to stay at 4th. How do you think this changes the Eastern Conference? And do you think now Eastern Conference teams are going to be making those calls for trades? Because I tell you what, yeah, while the Brooklyn Nets are going to drop down some, man, I don't know, bro. I don't know. How do you feel about
I was just telling them. I feel like the Knicks. You gotta watch out for the Knicks. And if I was the Knicks, I would be looking to make some moves, some real. Like I won't say big moves, but some moves that put you over the top to make y'all legit contenders. Because I feel
it? For
like
sure.
the Knicks is one of those teams that can jump. Like they
For
can
sure.
mess around, be top 5 easily.
Yeah.
I'm not too keen on like, of course, Cleveland can jump up. I'm not too much keen on the Heat jumping up. So, and I don't got no faith in us or the Hawks. So,
I
I'm,
think I think this may have the opposite effect. Whereas, like, and I always said, unless another team in the East makes a big move, thinking
mhm.
about it, like a lot of those middle of the pack teams now may be like, hey, definitely about to pass Brooklyn. We good. We don't even have to trade. Like, I think that it may have that effect. Whereas the West is like the one now where teams are gonna have to make moves to stay kind of up, keep up with the Dallas Mavericks. But I just don't know, bro. Like it really depends on how a couple of things shake out because the Indiana Pacers sitting right there. If they do trade Buddy Hield, or if the Atlanta Hawks trade Jason Collins to another John Collins, I say, to another Eastern Conference
Jason
team, yeah, Jason, that's a completely different player. And that dude was terrible. But
Trash.
yeah, but if unless one of those moves happen to one of the top like 5 or 6 teams in the East, I think the teams may be looking and licking their chops now. I think a lot of teams may honestly wait to the offseason and be like, hey, can we get KD now?
Mhm.
Is there a chance that the Brooklyn Nets are going to go full rebuild and move
Bro,
KD? So,
the Suns already talking. They already just dropped the alert. I said, dang, already?
uh,
Like
that's crazy.
I feel like that's another reason why I feel like what you said, people are gonna fall back even more because they feel like it's almost a foregone conclusion that KD gonna leave, so they're not worried
Yeah.
about. I don't really think people are like we said last week that we don't really expect it to be a big trade deadline day. So I could see the East falling back majority of the teams unless one of those Indianas and one of those like Knicks make a trade worth trying to put themselves over top. But besides that, I think it might stay the same as it has been.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch, man. This is crazy. It's a little over 24 hours since it was made public that he asked for a trade, bro. Like he's gone. Like shout out to
Thank you,
I
Lord.
just I mean,
I
but
was
I look at Joe Tsai and the Brooklyn Nets and that ownership group, bro, and like they got it. They not too far behind Jordan as one of the worst ownership.
Man, bro, you take it out. I just said that. I literally just said that because they was like, "Do you think KD gonna stay?" I'm like, "No." We get on KD and Kyrie a lot, but you really have to be honest. Joe signed that organization is not the best organization in the NBA. It's not even close.
No.
I don't even want to go into it. They did so many weird things and non-business moves and not communicating right, and it's just nah.
Yeah.
And they don't. I don't think they realize how bad this what 4 years, 5 years made them look as an organization.
Bro.
It's gonna be hard to get people to come there.
And here's I said this a little bit on one of the episodes of Chicago Bulls Central. I'm gonna say it again here. This is a big shot in the foot for the player empowerment movement. And the reason why I'm gonna say that is this: KD and Kyrie put that team together. They chose their coach, which was Steve Nash, and bit by bit, every part of what they built there has fallen apart. You brought in James Harden. He wanted to leave less than a year after coming there. You had to send him back out.
Failed.
Like Kyrie now is gone. You had a whole debacle with KD in the offseason where he wanted to be traded, didn't want to be traded. Joe Tsai looked KD in his face, was like, all right, yeah, we hear you. Fuck that. And like,
exactly.
So it's like
what you thought you was doing.
Yeah. So it's you thought we was trading you? Like, like it
bro.
was just, bro. Like,
I just realized what you just did. They definitely thought. He definitely thought. I know he was shitty.
Bro,
I know
like
he was.
So yeah, man, I just look at this and I don't see any way that the Brooklyn Nets can salvage this and try to rebuild or retool on the fly. Like, you're gonna have to send KD away, and you're gonna have to be bad and you're gonna have to hope that you luck up and get a #1 overall pick in the next 3 years that then develops and players either want to play with, or he just turns out to be generational talent, because it's gonna be a tough future for the Brooklyn Nets.
You just jacked up a good at least 4 years. At least 4 years.
Like, hey man, it's crazy, because when KD and Kyrie decided to join forces and go to Brooklyn, bro, you couldn't tell me they wouldn't make a finals by now, bro. I just fully believe they were going to make a finals by now, but
I didn't believe it. After they got rid of Kenny, I just like, once they started trading all the young youth out and Kenny left, I was like, y'all, I don't think y'all realize what y'all doing. Like, I really don't think y'all realize what y'all doing. Like, I get it. Like, yeah, those are 2 generational players, but everything don't work on paper.
Yeah,
that's definitely definitely an on paper duo. Like, I didn't. Yeah. That was one duo. I was like, I don't see that working. But just like I said with Luka and Kyrie, now I don't see that working. But let's see.
Let's see, bro. I mean, that's it, bro. You got anything left to say on it, man? We had a completely different episode plan. We're gonna have to record that in the middle of the week, bro, because this news is just wild, man. And it happened a lot faster. I honestly thought we were gonna go into closer to the actual deadline day. They just the ownership was like, "Hey, what they offering? All right, take it. Just go ahead, get rid of it." Like
and that's why I think they're going for picks. That's why I really think they're going for picks, because they essentially realized we effed up.
Yeah,
we effed up. Sure. So like you gotta.
By the beginning of next season, they're gonna have a team of Ben Simmons, Spencer Dinwiddie, and DeAndre Ayton. That's gonna be their team. And KD gonna be on the Suns. Just watch what I say, bro. That's gonna be their team. And we're gonna be looking like, how the fuck did we get here? How did we get here? I was just about to say.
I'm like, bro, the NBA scripts me is gonna be hilarious. That's bro. It's gonna be like, bro.
That's
I just got some ideas. Let me stop.
Yeah, bro. That's wild.
This is gonna be wild.
Never a dull day around the NBA, bro.
Never.
Like every trade deadline in my life that I can ever remember thinking, oh, it's about to be a quiet NBA trade deadline. I think other than, was it like 2015 where it was a quiet trade deadline? Don't quote me on the exact year. I know we had a fairly quiet one like 4 or 5 years ago, but other than that, something always happens.
Was that the year D-Wade came here?
Yes. Yes, I think that was the quiet trade deadline.
It was quiet because
Yeah,
I remember.
yeah.
I don't even want to get it. I remember the day where I was at. I was so annoyed. Bro. Why now? Why now? Why now? We wanted you 4 years ago. Why now? I don't want to. Oh, I'm so tired of players using this. I want to go home, bro. Bro. I don't want to hear that no more. I'm so tired of hearing that.
Bro, I just looked it up just for shits and giggles, bro. The biggest trade to go down, that would have been the 2016 trade deadline. The biggest thing to go down at that deadline was Randy Ford getting traded to Denver for Steve Novak and DJ Augustine.
Randy Ford ain't in the league no more.
I don't think nobody on that list is in the league.
Oh my God. Boy, the NBA, I tell you.
That's crazy. Or Jeff Green did get traded for Lance Stevenson that trade deadline, but that's after Lance Stevenson forgot how to play basketball.
Right.
That's crazy, bro.
Hey, bro, I remember people saying he's gonna be better than PG.
Bro, that's crazy, man.
Man, how many years was that? What a turn.
That's tough.
That's
wild. That's wild. Well, StevO, man, give him your social media, man. Let's get the hell up out of here, bro.
Man, this StevO speaks everything. Twitter, Instagram, all that.
All right, you guys can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. You can follow the show at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform. We out this bitch, man. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.